Time now for our Entre Nous segment, and today we're focusing on a phenomenon that's widely discussed here in France: no kid spaces or child-free areas. For more on this, we can bring in Solange Mougin. Solange, great to see you. Now, it's a decision by the SNCF, the public rail service, that really sparked this debate.
Yeah, it really was the spark. But before I get into the details of what happened with the SNCF and their announcement of no kid train cars, we need to keep in mind the bigger societal questions that this debate raises. Have we, as a society in France, but also elsewhere, have we become less tolerant of children, less tolerant of noise? If so, what is driving that? What of children's presence in public spaces, in our cities, in our streets? What do parenting styles and cultural norms have to do with this? Is there a conscious or unconscious silencing of children in society? How are falling birth rates affecting the place of the child? Is France a kid-friendly place, or is it not on the whole? So those are the big questions. Now, to the details of what brought this recurring debate to the fore, the French rail service, the SNCF, announced that as of January 8th, their newly named business class cars, or Optimum Plus, would not allow kids. Children are not accepted, was what was originally written. Amidst outrage, the terms were changed to those under 12. And the SNCF went on a PR damage control push, saying that this was already the case with certain business class cars, that they only represent 8% of the train on the whole. The restrictions are only during the week and on certain routes where there are many business travelers. It is also true that the SNCF, as competition opens to other rail lines, is trying to draw in those lucrative business travelers with the promises of calmer places to work. But nonetheless, the outrage was quite immediate, be it on the political front, on the left and also on the right, people asking what kind of society are we building. A bill is actually being prepared right now to outlaw no-kid zones in public spaces because of discrimination. And the French authority defending children's rights, or the Défenseur d'enfance, said it should be a wake-up call, or, quote, who today would dare ban any other category of adults? Or essentially, if you replace kids with any other term, say women, a race, an economic level, it then becomes quite shocking. And many French people, they also agree with this.
There was a baby behind me who was crying, and it was annoying. But I also understand. You just put your earphones on. It's no big deal. I mean, it's the train. It's public space.
I think it brings a bit of life and humanity into this world. And you can't forget, we were all children once.
But Solange's no-kid options are also gaining traction in other places like hotels and restaurants as well.
They are, and they're likely to stick around in private spaces. And for a second, we have to put ourselves in the shoes, say, of exhausted parents who've paid a lot of money for a romantic weekend away, or the traveling executive that has an important presentation to wrap up. A lot of us internally, when we get on planes and there's a screaming baby, we do say, oh no. So there is an instinct and attraction, which is to no kid spaces. This is understandable, especially in our societies where sans, or free or without, is often a driving commercial argument. Gluten-free, alcohol-free, fat-free. So for many, the jump to kid-free is not that far. But for a French senator who put forth a bill to stop these no kid zones, and for rights advocates too, it is a slippery slope, they say.
Do we want a society where each person builds a wall around them to put at a distance everything that's different from them? Today, these no-kids places puts forth the premise that children are a problem.
A society that no longer tolerates children at all is worrisome. It's dying. We cannot, on one hand, say people aren't having enough children, and then try to exclude them from everywhere.
Solange, the timing of this no kids debate is also quite significant, isn't it?
It is. January 2026 has been a moment where children and their place in French society has been very much in the news. UNICEF has just come out with a report that says that there's an invisibilization in France of thousands of children from government statistics on poverty, homelessness, nutrition. A social media ban for under 15s was passed by the National Assembly. The education minister wants there to be an an overseer on abuses in schools, as well as lawmakers who want to create a fund for the victims of violence. There's been much discussion of systemic silencing of children's voices. For in France, only 2% of children who've been sexually abused see their perpetrators found guilty. And then on top of this, there's the demographic question and those figures. For the first time since World War II, there were more deaths than births in France. And France, like many countries, has a shrinking population. And this is a problem. There are fewer kids in public, therefore, and in our daily lives as well.
So it begs the question, is France a kid-friendly place?
Well, I would argue that it is in a lot of ways. There's maternity leave and paternity leave. There's subsidized creches, schools for all starting at the age of 3. There's help for big families and lots of playgrounds and larger kid-friendly urbanization efforts. And new political measures encourage people to have more children. These are common for France's economic and societal model is tied to this. France is not yet, say, where South Korea is. It has hundreds of no-kid spaces, and 73% of Korean adults are in favor of these places. So France isn't there yet, but it is an opportune moment to question how we consider children in our public spaces.
Thank you very much for that, Solange Mougin there with Entre Nous, and you check out other editions on our website, France24.com.